Whew, okay, we're recording. All right, we're live, baby. Okay, so I'm glad you guys are all on with us today. This is a really important topic. And once you get this nailed down, you are going to find that you are a recruiting machine. And that's what we want, right? So the nice thing about this now is we have so many tools available at our disposal right now. And the one that we're going to go through today has to do with the new empowered success that doTERRA has put together for us. So I know there's a lot, oh, by the way, my name is Beth Phillips. If we haven't met before, I'm part of Jessica Moultrie's amazing team, and I'm happy to be here with you today talking about how to bring on new builders, because that is the pipeline of our business. So doTERRA has gone back and really revamped the empowered success duplication materials that we have. And this has been a labor of love by Justin Harrison, Kyle Kirschbaum, Eric Larson, and a bunch of different people. They have spent hours and hours going back through and tweaking the materials that we have to really hone it down. And they've included some of the emerge simplicity and a lot of feedback from you guys about how to make this the most duplicatable model possible. And so that's really what they have relaunched to us, and it's available to us in Class in a Box. And the reason that we're going to talk about this particular system, I know there's a lot of systems out there, and really whatever resonates with you that works best with your style is great. But what I like about this one is it's so easy to order, and we want to make things as easy for our new builders coming in as possible. So you order the Class in a Box. It comes with the teaching materials that you need, the sheets that you're teaching off of, the share guides, live guides, build guides. The build is the one that we're going to go through today. And it arrives in this really nice box. And so I had the opportunity last week to do some classes from this box. And I showed up at the class, and I had my top 10 oils out. And then they saw me open up this box, take the materials out afterwards. And one of the people that came up to me afterwards, and she's interested in building, she looked at that box and she was like, all that stuff comes from doTERRA, ready for you to use? I'm like, yep, it's so easy and portable. I actually had it shipped here, so I didn't have to fly with it. Everything is in here, and I just pull it out and teach from it. And she's like, I could do that. And I'm like, you could absolutely do that. So that's what we want, right? Is for people to see this as something that they themselves can do. So we're going to go through what is in this new system. Okay, can you guys see that? Just let me know. Yes, okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Okay, so this is doTERRA's newly revamped Empowered Success series that they have for us. And what it is guides that we get to hand out and share. And the really cool thing about it, which makes it insanely duplicatable, is you can even download for free all of these materials and share them. You can download them and email them. You can download and print them out. You can send the link to new builders and have them download them, anything you want to do. And where you can find them is in your at doTERRA.com under our advocates, and then Empowered Success. That's where you're going to find all these materials to download and view, which is cool. So even if like you're out and about and you don't have anything on you and you happen to meet somebody, you can literally pull it up on your phone, which is super cool. Okay, so this is again just showing you, this is what it looks like. These are all the different guides that you can access. Okay, so what they've done is the pipe system. So if you've heard of this before, it's something that we've used for a couple years now. And it's really just breaking it down to think about how easy this is if we present it in this way. Basically, success is really simple. There's 3 steps to building your pipeline with doTERRA. The first is to use the products, and the second is to share the products, and the third is to teach others to do the same. That's it. Doesn't that sound nice? Like, oh, I could do that. All right, so again, we're just telling them, first you're going to be using the products, you're going to be getting your own experiences, and then you're going to share what you like and what it's important to you and what you think your friends would like with them. And then you teach other people how to do that. So the purpose of a system is really to make it where it's just step by step, where everything is there that you need together so you can just lather, rinse, and repeat. And that's what we have in this system with the Live Guide, the Share Guide, the Build, and the Launch. We have a system that takes people through all the steps where you can literally read through it with them. They can read through it on their own if there's somebody who's just catches things on quickly, and they rinse, lather, rinse, repeat, and go through them themselves. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure that we are portraying this in a way that lets people think that they can do this. Like, I can do that. I can do what she's doing. And so we want to represent the business in a way so that the people that we're talking to can see themselves doing this. And so what we're going to have is these guides. And one of the things that they talk about is hiring the guides to perform a function for you. So we have all these different guides that they've put together for us, and they each have a job title. And so like the Share and Invite title is completed with a Healthy Can Be Simple. And then the job title of Enrolling Prospects, we use the Natural Solutions handout to do that for us. And then when we want to enroll them in LRP, we've got the Live Guide. When we want them to host a class, we have the Share Guide. And when we want them to build, then we have the Build Guide. And then they also have that Launch Guide that really is going to help launch them to Elite. So what you're doing is helping to identify your new enrollees' pathway with them. And if you haven't seen these before, these guides are really beautiful. They're colorful and it's very inviting, and people can see themselves inside doing these activities. So each of our builders get to choose their pathway. And one of the things that they've done with this system is put the Build Guide kind of in the middle. It can actually come before the Share Guide. If you have somebody who is using the products and they know they want to build right away, you can go through the Build Guide with them first. And then the Share Guide you can actually do with them afterwards once they're setting up their classes so that they have good attendance and good classes. So don't think that you have to go through the Share first. You can go straight to the Build Guide. So whether they're starting as a customer or as a builder, this is where the building pathway begins. And it's inside of this new Build Guide. And really the purpose of it, and that's even on the back, is to help bring hope and healing, raising up leaders so that they can live their dreams. So the job title of this Build Guide is to help people commit to building this business with us. So we want to help people choose their reason into why they want to do doTERRA. And there's a lot of different reasons people come in. Right here, it shows you that some people come in for the money and then other people come in for the mission. But there's a lot of other reasons, even outside of that, that we can help them identify, because that's going to be what keeps them consistent in building this business. For some people, they want a bigger savings account. You know, if you've listened to the presentations that talk about the retirement of most of the people in this nation, hardly anyone has more than $5,000 to $10,000 in their savings account when they retire. That's definitely not enough to live off of, right? So this is a way that they can build a healthy savings account. Maybe that's what they want to do. Maybe they're looking for more time freedom. Maybe they're tired of every morning waking up and going to work Monday through Friday and someone telling them when they can go to lunch and when they can take time off to do things with their family. So that's another thing people are looking for, is more of a flexible schedule so that they can do the things that are important to them. Not that they're not going to be working, this is a job, but having that freedom to be able to do the things in life that are important to you, and not spending your time being told what to do by the people whose dreams you're building, instead of taking all that time and energy into building something for yourself. So maybe you can help them see that for themselves, and that's why they want to do this as a business. But just try to hone in on why this would be important to them, how this could be a game changer for them. Another thing could be the opportunity to travel more. A lot of us love to travel. And if you're doing doTERRA as a business, you're going to have the opportunity to do that for a few different reasons. One is that we attend convention every year in Salt Lake City. So if they've never been to Utah and Salt Lake City, it's a gorgeous place. and it's part of their business training. That's going to be something they're doing. If they build this up and they end up doing Diamond Club, well, then doTERRA is going to pay a portion of their travel so that they can build their business in other cities, in other states, or even other countries. So if you've got somebody who likes to travel, then they have the opportunity to do so while building their business, and doTERRA is going to help pay for part of it. So that might be something that interests them. So just kind of talk through what maybe is interesting to them and why they might want to do this as a business for themselves. I'll skip one. Okay, so what the business overview is going to go over is no longer hauling buckets. You guys are probably familiar with that analogy. It's an important one because a lot of people don't understand what residual income means. They think they do, but they don't really understand it. So that analogy of the person who, instead of hauling buckets every day full of water, taking the time to building that pipeline where money was coming in and day out, whether he was hauling water or not, that's a really important thing for them to identify, especially because this is a lot of work in the beginning and you're not seeing that financial reward yet, but you're building that pipeline to that financial reward. And so help them walk through that stuff so that analogy is helpful. It's also going to invite the conversation of partnering with doTERRA's mission, the compensation plan, going back to living their dream. What is that? Have they thought about that in a while? Probably not. Most of us didn't before we started doing this, that it was actually okay to have dreams still for your future, and then how they can make a difference. So the first thing we're going to do is walk them through this first door, the golden door of the opportunity that's inside of doTERRA. And it's important to really feel that opportunity when you're meeting with people. Even if you haven't reached the level of success that you feel like is something that, oh, people, you know, I'm just an elite, which we hear a lot, or something, which is not true. You've built a team, you're on your way, but it's important to feel that inside of yourself when you're talking to people that you're on this path and you've seen it done and you know how to do it and you're on your way and you want to partner and do this with them. So always make sure as you're talking to them that you're carrying that level of belief and excitement with you, because that's what's going to get them excited and it's going to get them to jump on board. So it's really just a sequence of decisions that we're helping them go through one at a time, and they get to make each of the decisions, which is great. It gives them that autonomy that Tasha talks about that's so important, where we're not like, you need to do this and you need to do this. It's like, what would you like to do? Where do you see yourself in this? What is important to you, and what's going to help you get to where to your goals? So that first one is that, do they want to continue hauling buckets? Or are they ready to build a pipeline? After you've gone through that analogy with them, it's like, so where do you see yourself? And for most people, they don't want to haul buckets. So this is a good time for them to start making that switch of, I'm willing to put in the work. I know it's not going to be overnight, but I'm willing to start building my future. Nobody else's future anymore, mine. So help them make that decision for themselves. And this is something they can do alongside of their bucket hauling job, which is fine. That's important to make clear as well. We realize that you still need to haul buckets for a while you're getting this business off the ground, and that's fine. But in a little while, you can choose to stop hauling buckets if you want to. Or if you love what you do, maybe cut back. You don't have to do it as often. But it really opens up a lot more freedom of choice in their life, which they don't have right now. So decision number 2 is for them to choose to partner with doTERRA. And this portion of it is something that I've got really passionate about lately. I feel like it's the biggest part of even my intro class now is the doTERRA difference. What's different about doTERRA? And that's come about for kind of a couple reasons. One is that people are catching on to the fact that this business model of network marketing works. They're seeing it in their friends. They're seeing the success. And so now some of them are thinking, I want to do my own little thing, but what is that? Which company do I choose to go with? So we really want to make sure that they see that our 65% retention rate makes doTERRA the place you want to be. You don't want to be replacing 90% of your organization every year, which is the average of the companies out there. Only about 8 to 12% in other companies stick around after a year. 65% of our people stick around. So that in itself tells you who you want to work with. And the other reason that we need to talk about the difference in doTERRA has to do with the fact of our growth. We grew so fast that we matched Apple in hitting $1 billion. And in doing so, what did that do? Well, it caused a lot of people out there who want to make money say, oh, I could sell essential oils. And so we're seeing them in Bed Bath & Beyond. I think even Best Buy tried to have their finger in it for a minute. And so consumers are out there and they don't know the difference. They see a bottle of frankincense and it says 100% pure, and so they're going to try it. And so we really need to be explaining the difference of doTERRA, and that comes with the co-impact sourcing and the Healing Hands initiatives, the work that's the charity, everything that's coming into this whole thing that is doTERRA. doTERRA is not just oils. It's humanitarian work. It's all sorts of things. So it really is about changing the world. So if you're going to spend your time building a business, why not do it with a company that's leaving this magnificent footprint? Why not be a part of something like that? So that's something that we can go through on this page of the build guide, is why they want to partner with doTERRA. So then we're going to disclose, this is how we do what we do. It's not a secret. We don't keep it a secret. We put it out there. It really is as simple as using the product, sharing the product, teaching others to do the same. All right. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, so this is something that I kind of put together, and the purpose of it was I wanted, when I'm sitting down with people, I want them to start dreaming again. I want them to think of doTERRA in a way that is meaningful for them. So not everybody that you sit down with is going to want to have diamond on their vision board. They're not. For some people, not yet anyways, they will, but not yet. And the reason is sometimes that's just too big. It seems like too big of a commitment. Like I could never bring in that many people. And so we don't want them to count themselves out because they can't see that big of a vision yet. So let's break it down into something smaller that they can see. So what's your dream? And what if you could do it sooner? So these are just some things that kind of are common when we talk to people that would make a difference in their life. Telling them they could make $20,000 a month doing this may seem a little too far-fetched for them, but what if you could take over one of the car payments in your household and it didn't have to come out of your budget anymore? It came out of doTERRA. doTERRA paid your car payment. Would that be cool? Would that be worth building for? Or what about your kids? What if I know your daughter really wants like writing lessons. Anything to do with horses is very expensive. So what if you could have your daughter in writing lessons or lease a horse for them to use, and that came out of doTERRA, wasn't coming out of your family budget? Or if you have a kid that wants to do music lessons or sports, any kind of sports, they're expensive. So what if you could provide that for your children and it wasn't coming out of your grocery money? It was doTERRA was paying for that. And then like, what's on your bucket list? Where have you always wanted to go? Do you want to swim with the dolphins? Do you want to go spend a week or a month on a tropical island somewhere? You really can build this to where that is a possibility for you. And what about your husband? Like, we all know, I mean, this is kind of a common thing on vision boards for men is, get a Harley or some sort of thing that it's like, they've got a family now, so it's not practical. So they feel like it's not going to happen. But what if you got your whole family on board and we're like, we're doing this together. So kiddos, mama gets to this and you get to do your writing lessons, and hubby, you get to go out there and start thinking about which bike you want. And it's not going to be overnight, but if we really come together as a family and everybody supports me in doing this, we can make this stuff happen. So how much fun to get their buy-in for that. So the next thing that we're going to talk about in the build guide is the levels of compensation. And you don't need to go super deep into this the first time. They're not going to remember it all anyways, but this is really just a brief overview of what the different ranks look like and what the possibilities are monetarily. So these aren't the numbers that you're going to make the very first time you hit a rank, but this is the average. This is after that rank is solid. That's what kind of money they're looking at per month. So just help them understand that, you know, these are averages. It's not going to be the very first time you hit this rank, but this is what is commonly made at this rank. And something cool that they've done with this graphic in particular is that colored part at the bottom you see, it shows them how much of their income is coming from Fast Start, that's the purple area, how much of their income is coming from Power of 3, that's the blue section, and how much of the income is coming from Unilevel and then leadership. So you can see how much it changes over time. In the beginning, the biggest part of your check is Fast Start. And then obviously we know later that part is just a little bit, it's nice, right? But in the beginning, your Unilevel's tiny, and sometimes those checks are kind of funny. It could be like $9. But after you've built this up, your Unilevel is your residual income, and that part gets very large. It's bigger than all of the other bonuses combined by the time you've built this up to something. So it's just neat. I kind of think they're not going to understand this right away, but for you guys, I just kind of wanted you to see that it's really interesting how it shifts as you're growing this. And your Unilevel is your pipeline. That's your money forever. So that's the one, that's why we want to be nurturing our customers and making sure that we have good retention, because that's where the bulk of our check is going to come from. So decision number 3 that they get to make, and this part's kind of fun because now you've explained residual income to them. You've told them why doTERRA is the best company to be with. And you showed them the possibilities in compensation that are out there. And now they get to choose how big they want to jump in. How big do they want to play? And so you can see over on the right, do they want to just pay for their product? Do they want to supplement their income, or do they want to replace their income? And they get to choose. And then it kind of gives them an idea of how many hours a week that looks like and what rank that payout is kind of associated with. And just so you know, this dream will grow for people. So when I started, I only wanted to be able to pay for my product. That was it. I wanted the $250 bonus. I wanted what we needed for my husband's health to not have to come out of our family budget. And so I was like, I just want to get to the $250 and that's it. I'm not going to be diamond. I'm not a salesperson, but that was it. But I reached that. And then I was like, well, I'm not stopping because we just lather, rinse, and repeat. I'm already doing this stuff, so I'll continue. And then my next goal was that I wanted to be able to take our family on a trip to New York and be able to pay for the whole thing myself. And I did that. And okay, lather, rinse, repeat. I'm still doing this. So then diamond became a vision for me. So if people don't necessarily see themselves going all the way, it doesn't mean that can't change. And that's another thing I like to tell people when I'm meeting with them is what I love about this is you're not stuck. If you say you just want to do a little bit and it turns out you want to do more, that opportunity is open to you at any time. So just start off with what you're comfortable with. And if that grows and you really want to go all the way, we can help you do that too. Anything's open to you. All right, so decision 4 they get to make is choosing to get started. And so we have the tools for that. The Live Guide, if they haven't had a membership overview already, make sure that they get one. Now they can go through the Share Guide and learn how that they can share this with others effectively. How do they effectively invite and get people to show up to their class? And then the Launch Guide, so they can start setting some goals, a 30, 60, and 90-day goal. And then help them create their names list and go over it with them. This is a no judgment zone. This is just kind of a data dump of everybody in your life that you know. And then we're going to go back and kind of categorize, like, who do you think would want to use the product? Who do you think might share the product and host a class for you now and then? And who do you think would want to do this business? Not only because you think they would be good at it, but it's somebody that you really want to work with. And help them kind of, we'll take out like highlighters and kind of highlight people in different colors. Just so as we start contacting these people, we kind of know how we want to reach out to them and we can help this person get some wins under their belt right away. So again, the goal of this is to bring hope, healing hearts, raising leaders, and helping people live their dreams. And that's how that wraps up. When you close up that build guide, that's what you're leaving them with. So it's small decisions that help create big results in our life. It's just putting one foot in front of the other, and that's what these guides are, is literally helping you help them put one foot in front of the other and breaking it down into easy to do steps. Okay, so that's it for that one. Now we're gonna go to another one, because what happens when they say yes, that they wanna do this, then what? That's what we're gonna go over right now. Okay, so launching new builders. You've gone through the build guide with them and they say, yes, I'm in, I wanna do this. Now what do we do? Okay, so first step, you've gone through the build guide with them, and then you're gonna wanna help them identify their goals. Help them set some 30, 60, 90-day goals, or maybe 30-day, 6-month, 1-year goals, whatever they wanna do. But help them identify what their goals are for this business. And then figure out how many hours they're willing to commit to work. And then you're gonna have to use your knowledge and figure out, do those match up? If they wanna hit a certain rank in a certain amount of time, does that match up with the amount of hours that they're willing to put in? And if it doesn't, then you're gonna have to help them see either they have to raise the hours that they wanna work or extend the time it's going to take them to reach that goal. And then you're gonna go over with them, what are their strengths? What do they bring to the table that they think is gonna help them be able to do this business well? And then what might be difficult for them? And whatever it is that might be difficult, just help them tweak that, help them overcome it, minimize that, whatever it is. But we all know that those things we don't have to focus on. Let's just focus on what they're good at. And then the other stuff they can improve. And the last thing that's really important is to set expectations with people, especially new builders that we're bringing on. So these are some questions that you want to go over with them. The first one is, what do you expect from me as your leader? So they've said they want to do this with you, and you're like, great, so what do you expect from me? And so what's nice about this is where they're going to tell you in their own words to keep them accountable. They're going to say, I expect you, to help me, to show me the steps. I expect you to, help me do this for a little bit because I don't know how to do what you do. And you're going to say, great, so let's get your classes set up. I'll be there with you to help you. And I'm going to give you some education in the form of webinars or whatever you're going to do, and we'll go through that together. So they've said that they want you to do all of this. So now you're just helping them out in that area, which you were planning on doing anyways, but it was their idea, which is always the best way. Then you're going to say, okay, here's some things you're going to expect from me. You can expect me to let me know when you're doing well and when you're not doing well. And the reason we want to do this is because we know they're not going to do everything perfectly. And so there is going to be some times that we need to correct them, but we're letting them know right away that this is normal. We expect to do it. We do it with everybody. And it's not something they're doing wrong. It's just part of the growth process. And then you want to end it with, is that fair? And so they've agreed to it. And you're also going to tell them that, and when you rock something, you can expect me to really recognize you. And what's exciting about that for them is, as adults, we don't get recognized very often for things that we're doing well. We do it for our children all the time, and when our children are growing up, they get a lot of recognition. But as an adult, you don't really get recognition anymore. So for them to know, it really helps them want to rise to the occasion. Who doesn't want to be recognized? And so it can be on Facebook. It can be in any format that you like, but they know that this is coming, and it gives them something to look forward to. And then you're going to let them know, here are some of my expectations of you. Is that fair? And you're going to go through whatever your expectations are for your builders. Everybody's are different, but kind of have that mapped out so that they know what your expectations are. And having this conversation with people is going to save you so much frustration. It's going to help you have joy in this business. It's going to help them have joy in this business. and is literally accomplished in 10 minutes. It's the best 10-minute conversation you're ever going to have with a person. And the last thing is, if they are a friend, to set some clear friend-mentor boundaries from the beginning so it doesn't get muddy in there. And so one of the things would be like, okay, you know, when we have our weekly or monthly, whatever it is, coaching call, that's our mentor time. That's really business time. So we're not going to talk about your kids. I love your kids. We're not going to talk about your kids. We're not going to talk about your husband. We're not going to talk about that kind of stuff. We're going to keep it related to doTERRA, because this is our time that I get to help you build your business. But then on the flip side of that, if you're hanging out with them at a kid's party or by the pool or at the park, we don't always want to be on doTERRA style. So make sure that when you're hanging out with them just as a friend, it's just friend time. And that if they bring something up, that's fine. You can obviously answer them. But if you feel like there's something that you need to address with them, either ask their permission or set up a different time to do that. Make sure that you've got clear mentor time and clear friend time. So the next thing that we're going to do after we have gone through the expectations and their goals is to tap them into all the goodness that we have on this team. And that really starts off with the Club DIM launch series. So this is a series of 9 videos. They're broken up into short, easy to do segments. And this is how they can get an overview of all the steps that they need to do. Now, how this is important for you and why it is so incredibly awesome is this used to be appointments that we had to sit down either on the phone or in person with people over and over and over again, and it took hours and hours and hours. We don't have to do that anymore. It's all recorded and it's all excellent content. So you just tap them into this and you check in with them, you know, ask their style. Do you want me to check in with you after each video? Do you want to watch a few and then we'll get together and discuss them? Because they're each going to have their own preference. Let them choose. And then set a time that you're going to either meet up with them or do a Zoom or call and go over any questions that they have. This just saved you hours and hours and hours. But the other thing it did is this is very duplicatable. So what I like to say to people is, you know, I'm going to plug you into this awesome system. We're going to check in with each other and go through any questions that you have. And as you watch it, just think about how great this is, because as you meet your friends that you want to do this with you, you're going to tap them into this same system. It makes it so easy. And so that's a nice thing that they get to, as they're going through it, not only are they thinking about themselves, but they're starting to think about who in their life that they want to do this with. They could also tap into this system. So they're not thinking that they have to go out there and train people on all these different things. It's done. They just help their friends do the same thing that they're doing. And then the next thing to do with them is to help them craft their sales conversation. So if you're doing a merge, Tasha goes through this step by step. So you can, if you haven't done that program yet, it's a great program. If you're not doing a merge, then just at least help them figure out how they're going to teach an intro class. And we've got the Natural Solutions Guide that comes with the class in a box. So it could be going through and role playing with them all the different sections. And so they get comfortable in doing it themselves. That can kind of be your mentor calls in the beginning, because I know sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, like I have people under me and I have to lead them and I have to do calls with them, but I don't know what to talk about. Go through this. This is one of the best activities you can do with people, is to role play with them the steps they need to be doing. So you can, even if you're doing it on Zoom, you can each have your own Natural Solutions Guide in front of you, and you do a section and then you have them do it. And then if you need to do it again as another example for them, you do it again, or you just have them keep doing it until it gets more comfortable and more natural. You could do a page, a call. That would probably be enough content for them to go through, or divide it up however you want. But you're helping them get comfortable with their sales conversation. And the next thing we want to do with people is to help get them over the line. And this is something that Eric Worre talks about, because people that start a business in network marketing, because the startup cost is so minimal, you're talking $150, maybe $500, maybe $2,500 if they come in with the biggest kit, compared to starting a business where the national average is $65,000 to $80,000 to open doors of a business. our startup cost is so small that it also makes it really easy for people to leave because they haven't really committed that much. So we need to help them get over the line. And what that line is where it's harder for them to leave than it is to stay. And the way we do that is by helping them get some classes under their belt. Either it's a class or it's a few one-on-ones, whatever that is. Get them doing that and help them get their first sale. There's a statistic that he's put together, and what the average is for somebody who starts a network marketing business, if they make $0 in their first 6 months, there's only a 20% chance that they will stay active. But if they make $1 in their first 6 months, there's a 70% chance that they will stay active. So how important is it for us to get them their first check? It's so important. And the way we're going to do that is by helping them go after the easy people on their list. Help them get some wins right away. As they've wrote out their 100 names list or 50 names, whatever they have down there, go through it with them and say, who would sign up today? Which of your friends do you know is going to be all about this? That's who you want to talk to first. You don't want to go talk to their nasty aunt or their stubborn sister. Don't start there. Start with the easy person. Help them get some confidence. Help them think, I can do this. I did do this. And so the way you're going to do that is by helping them get their first sale so that they're earning a check. And then another nice thing is help them as they're going through this process right out of the gate, help them to ask for referrals. Because I know a lot of us, after you've been doing this for a while and you've gone through your warm market, you start to feel like I ran out of contacts, I ran out of people to talk to. But from Emerge, one of the biggest aha moments for a lot of us was asking for referrals. How few times do we actually do that? And so if you are teaching them just like they're learning to teach the intro class and just like they're learning to do the membership overview, they're learning how to ask for referrals. They don't know any different. So teach them that right away so that as they're going through their warm market, they're tapping into their warm market's warm market. And it's going to help them not go through that phase of I ran out of people to talk to. I don't know what to do. And then we just rinse and repeat. So after your first 5 meetings with them, whether it's 5 one-on-ones or 2 classes and 3 one-on-ones, whatever it is, go back and assess what it is that they're doing well and what skills they need to work on. And those are going to be the future of your coaching calls with them, are the things that they need to work on. So as you're looking back at how they did, okay, maybe, in their 2 classes, they had 6 people there and only 1 person enrolled from each class. Well, then there's something that needs to be worked on there. Or maybe in their 5 one-on-ones, 4 of them signed up for $35 and got an oil. So maybe we need to work on closing the kits with them a little better. But you can assess how they're doing when you look back and look at how they've been doing so far, and then that lets you know how to move forward with them and what they need to work on and improve. And role play this with them. It's awkward, it's a little bit time consuming, but it's the best thing you can do because that's how they improve. They need to talk it out. They need to go through it a few times. And you're not just going to role play with them once when you're working on something. They're going to do it for you, and you're going to say, that was really great. I did notice that, maybe you could have said this instead. Do you want to try it again? Let them try it again and say, okay, that was it. You nailed it. Let's do it one more time and lock it in. So you want to do it a few times. It's not just one and done, because that's not going to help. We need this to just be like ingrained in them, that this stuff rolls off their tongue very easily, because then they're going to be more comfortable, and that's going to come through to the people that they're talking to. And then our next job as their leader is to get them to as many events as we can. And convention is the biggest. It's the one, it's like the granddaddy of all events. And when you can get people to convention, it helps them be around other people like them. And they get to see, one of my favorite things is when you're at convention, when you're watching the silvers cross the stage, there is people from all different walks of life, right? Have you guys seen that? I mean, you've got the mom with the baby strapped on her. You've got the little old lady with a walker and a wheelchair that just hit silver. You've got a guy with a beard and overalls that just hit silver. And so they can see like, oh my, I totally fit into this crowd. And they can see that it's a possibility for them. So any events are good. Any live events you have in your area, go, and don't go by yourself. Bring a car full of people with you. The wellness summits that are going around, the regional events, and any of those events, anything that's put on by corporate is free training that you don't have to do yourself, or maybe it's like $20 or whatever. That's just to barely cover the cost of the room. And so get people there and take advantage of the training that's being done by people in doTERRA that have had success, or by the owners themselves. You can't miss out on that. So the last thing that we get to tap people into as well are these daily mentor calls. So you're bringing people on. This is a fabulous resource because it's going to help them start off their day. Each day, they're like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, somewhere in there. And it's going to go over a topic that's going to answer a question that they probably have that they haven't asked you yet. And it's going to just keep their mind on how they're going to turn this into a business. It's not a hobby. This is a business. And so these little tidbits, they can listen to it while they're driving, while they're doing their makeup, after the kids have gone to bed. Anytime during the day, they can be listening to this, and it's going to help move them forward in their business. And so this is a really great resource. These have all just been redone. They've been redone by people in the company who know their stuff. They have gone through the trenches. They know what works, what doesn't work, and they're giving you the best of what they know. And it's free. So make sure that we're tapping into this. Another piece here, this is also from Emerge, if you've done that, is a first appointment special. They're just really fun. And so it's something you can make up with your new person. And we just get the little organza bags from Amazon. They're super cheap, and you can put empty rollers in there. You could put a deep blue and a shampoo sample and a toothpaste sample. You can put whatever you want in there. But what this is a way to help them close the sale that day. So they've gone through their presentation. They've figured out what that person would like to buy if they were able to. And then they say, you know what, I do have a special today. It's my first appointment special. If you sign up with that kit you were looking at today, you get to go home with this. You can even make them like their own custom roller. That's just a couple bucks because you're just putting drops of oil in there. Whatever you want it to be. But this just kind of helps move people into signing up faster. So this is a graphic. It's just kind of a snapshot of launching new builders. I like to either have it in my folder that I can look at before I meet with somebody, or I pull it up on my phone. And it just helps remind me of the steps that I need to be going through with them. So I'll post this in the group as well. That way you have it. And it's just kind of a little cheat sheet of what you do so you don't forget anything. So your action items for this week is, if you haven't watched the launch series yet on Club DIM, do it. Because we have to know what they're going through, what the topics are that they're going to be covering, because they are going to come to you with questions. And it doesn't look very good if we don't know what they're talking about when they ask us the question. So make sure you've gone through the launch series yourself and the daily mentor calls. These are new, so none of us have been through them before. So make sure that you're going through the content as well. And this is going to do a couple things. One is you are going to get that knowledge. And I guarantee you, no matter how long you've been doing this, you still gain nuggets, because these are from people all over in doTERRA. And there's so many different styles. You're going to learn something from somebody that you've probably never met before that you implement that's going to change your business. It always happens. And it could just be like this tiny little tweak, this one sentence on how they close their class, one sentence on how they invite people. There's going to be something that you are just going to be like, oh my gosh, that's a total game changer. So make sure that you're going through the mentor calls. The other thing is that it's going to give you content. So as you have people coming to you with questions and you're listening to this, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Sarah just asked me about this last week. Now I can send this to her. Hey, Sarah, remember last week when you asked me about blah, blah, blah? Well, here's some content on that I think can really help. And it's also going to give you content that you can keep helping moving your builders forward, because you're going to have constantly new stuff being fed to you. This is what fills our cup. This is what helps us be able to pour more into others. So lastly, just to leave you with this, it's one of my favorite quotes. And it's, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And this is network marketing. That's what it is. It's creating a network of people. And the faster you can create that network of people, of good quality people that you want to work with, you can go so far. There's no limits to this and how far you can go. So, okay, so that's it. Do you guys have any questions? Put them in the chat if you do. Okay, let's see. Okay, Joanna, where are these? Which were you asking about? Just let me know. The daily mentor calls, we'll put a post up, Anna, in the group. There's a link, so that way you can get to them. Oh, good. Judy has notes. Love it. The 30-day mentoring guide, Jennifer, is that the daily mentor calls? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, Jessica answered for me. Just didn't get there yet. There you go. The convention is in September. Let me see if that was answered because I don't remember the dates off the top of my head. Do you set up a different appointment for each guide? Oh, it really depends on the person. Here's the thing. Some people have short attention spans. I think the average, they say, is even for an adult before we kind of tune out, is about 40 minutes. So I know I'm getting there with you guys. We're at that point where we can't retain much more. So it just kind of depends per person. If you've already been there an hour, chances are I'm going to set up another appointment because you're going to go through all of that and they can't retain anymore. If they're eating it up and what you went through at first was simple, then just kind of keep going. I just kind of gauge it by person. And convention is September 19th through the 22nd. Yay. And if you guys haven't been before, you have to go. It's amazing. Start planning your babysitting now. Start putting together a little shopping fund. So much fun. Would I go back over this with someone who has dabbled with the business? Absolutely, for sure. We even was on a call with somebody last week and she was talking about reaching out to somebody who had been building and then kind of disengaged. And she came back to her and said, you know what? When you started, I was kind of so new and I feel like maybe it was too complicated. And we have new tools in place where this process is so streamlined. If you want to do this, I'd love to meet up with you and just have you take another look at what it looks like now, because it's totally different and it's fun and it's going to be very easy for you to share this with other people. So something like that. Okay, I hope I answered everything. Julie's booking her flight. There were really good deals for Southwest this week. So if you guys fly Southwest, a couple things. I love it because you get 2 bags for free. And they run their sales typically Tuesday to Thursday. So if you sign up on their email, then they send out their specials and they're typically good from Tuesday to Thursday. So definitely be looking at your flights for convention. It's a good idea to fly in a day early if you can, because there's always so much going on. There's extra trainings available. It's just fun. Kind of go and maybe just get in the mindset of, you know, away from the hectic life and just kind of get prepared for all the information that you're going to be taking in. Oh, someone's got an alert set so they know when the deals are coming for their flights. That's a great idea. Okay. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being on here, and I hope you have an excellent week. Bye-bye.